Fundamentals past maybe 4 weeks, definitely 3 weeks. I've worked a sequence of moves, a very logical game plan progression. I've got a Safi actually since you just leaned there. So you're just with your back on the ground. We started off with close guard. Your opponent traps you in close guard. We looked at ways to get out of here and how to create good posture. And one of them being is to stand up. This is just one of the ways we do it. Then we looked at ways to go from here to side control, which is the next part of our transitional phase. Then I talked about how to control side control, and mainly the biggest takeaway I wanted people to work on was pressure. Me being here is, it's okay, but then, you know, Safi is eventually going to get out. Plus, I'm not really creating any opportunities for myself. But by lifting my knees off the ground, maybe angling, I can create different amounts of pressure in different places and force him to defend more. Okay? Now and then last week we looked at certain attacks from the side. One of them being when we change the angle, step over, and we create strangulation. And what else did we look at?
The elbow.
Yes, and because he stops this, that gives us an opportunity to attack we call the Americana. Okay, so let's look at another attack from the side. Honestly, you could spend weeks and weeks and weeks just learning attacks from the side. But I wanted to condense it into the most useful one. The most useful one is the Kimura. And we're going to look at just that grip position and what we can do with it from the side control. So Kimura, to those who are not initiated, from this side position is this grip. I'm just going to show you this grip. Here. So can everyone see the detail here? So Sakia leans, rolls to face the audience, and you can see that. Yeah, you can see that. Maybe not now. Okay, never mind. Relax, buddy, relax. Okay, so we're here. All right. This is your starting point just for today. In a minute, we're going to talk about how to set this up. But I want you to get the idea of an instinctive mechanism where you are gripping the furthest arm, your furthest arm, to his furthest arm. Furthest one. This is how I remember it. Because it's very easy to get confused. You go, oh, it's a Kimura, and you're sort of doing this sort of weird thing going on. You wasted your opportunity. It has to be instinctive, where the arm that's furthest away attacks the arm that's furthest away, which is that one. The nearest arm would be this arm, right? So attacking here. Number one. That's number one. See this sort of square shape here. Number two goes underneath the arm you're attacking and latches onto your wrist. This is very easy to remember, just two moves. Right, let's look at the finish from here. Now what I want to do is wrench his shoulder that way, but the ground is in the way. I have to somehow make the ground disappear or change the position of his body. And the way we do that is I switch my body position. See how his back raises off the ground? And I step over his head and I draw him. Yeah, it's very, very sensitive. Different people have different flexibility. So you never want to crank this on with extreme violence, just medium violence, okay? So we're going to start here, guys. If you're forgetful, just start from the chest on chest. The forearm reaches to attack the wrist here. And then this one goes underneath his arm, grabs your own wrist, and nothing happens yet. He's not in pain. You know, I'm not twisting anything. I'm turning my body, which raises his body up. See, now there's space here. This is the equivalent of the ground disappearing. Step over his head, very gently rotate his shoulder backwards. Everyone got that?
Are you just making the pressure with the wrist? With the wrists? Is that the only part you're moving?
The only part I'm moving is, well, most of the work is done by my body position. I'm just very static here at the moment. And the tiniest bit of movement I am going to use is this hand here, creating this movement here, this backward winding movement. I'll go over to those details after this, but I want you to get used to the Kimura if you haven't done this before, or if you need a little refresher. This is the ideal way to do it. Okay, give it a go. Pair up, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Let's
long time.
Right. I think for you guys, if you're all on that side, all the action will be here. Will be slightly obscured. Let's look at it in more detail now. There's some common issues that people are experiencing. The most common one, especially if you're quite new to doing the Kimura, is that it feels like you're not really doing anything. Especially if your partner is not tapping agreeably. And even if you've done everything right, doing this one, it doesn't feel like you're creating a submission. And that's a good thing, because Kimura is principally, first and foremost, a control position. So if you manage to get in this position here, we're just holding this, you can ask your opponent to just struggle around, move around a bit. So John, it's quite a good controlling position. Everything is about control. So if you're expecting a fast submission, I don't think Kimura is it. Kimura is first one, and Strauss is the same thing, right? It's control. If you go to his classes, he always talks about controlling your opponent. He uses Kimura a lot. And then after that will be a variety of other submissions. One of them, of course, being the Kimura lock itself. Let's talk about trying to get finished anyway. Now my aim is to, not only am I cranking this way, John, if you turn to me, I'm trying to get his fist, back of his fist, behind his back, something cracked there. Is that right?
Yeah, it's right.
So imagine you're doing a citizen's arrest, you would put the hand behind the back and you would arrest him, right? That's what you're trying to do. The Kimura lock doesn't necessarily work just this alone. You're trying to do this, and then you're doing a further twist. So how do we get there? Right. So we started off here in our very perpendicular alignment. I'm switching my hips so that lifts his back, which gives me space. See, but if I want to put his wrist here. Yes, I can step over, but there's one final bit I need to add to it. I'm turning my head this way, which allows me to put his hand here. See where I am now, so I'm just relaxed a bit. See where my body alignment is. I'm actually more like about 45 degrees. I'm actually on his hip, not here, trying to do that, turn this way, which is very similar to the technique we did last week where I'm turning here, I'm putting on the choke here. So very gently. So this is the new addition for you. Switching our hips, stepping over, twisting my head down to here, bring his wrist behind his back, and you're going to, yeah, there you go. So you get a very painful wrenching of the shoulder, and you'll find that little addition will be beneficial for you guys. Everyone got that? Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's go. So this grip here, right, it's very hard to get because when you take side position, they defend. So how would you? Yeah, exactly. It's very, he's not going to give you that thing. So you kind of have to look for something else. And the thing I like to look for, especially if he's kind of giving me this here, is to go over, turn into what we call north-south. It literally does as the name says. I'm facing north and he's facing south. Something like that. Good. I'm leaning on him, and I want to turn him on his side. And I'm not quite sitting on his head, but I'm trapping his head. See what I did with this arm here? I've kind of put underneath, which allowed me to get the grip here. So now, so you can see. Here. So he's defending, and even worse, he's trying to create a gap. Go around. My other arm, and it's just a quarter turn. I'm on my knees now, and my arm is completely underneath the arm that I'm going to attack. I turn him on his side, and I stop him here. Now I'm squeezing my knees, I'm putting a wedge in place here. I take this, what we call this Kimura grip here. Alright, if you have to continue, I can continue. Another tip we can do is I just raise this knee up here. It's a higher wedge here, because you don't want him to flatten. You want it up here. So one tip I learned is to put this here, rather than down here. Now traditionally we would just pull away, up and over. Very often this doesn't quite finish, so we're going to complete the whole technique. Guess where we are again? Here, which is what we want to do in the first version of it. Alright. A lot of steps here, so try and absorb what you can. Start off in your regular side position, and he's just trying to defend, making him be annoying. The hand that was controlling his head goes around, tucks underneath the arm. You take your other arm, spin around just a quarter turn, and roll him onto his side. Bring your knees here so that he's always on his side now. Free yourself so you can grab that, what we call this figure 4 grip, this Kimura grip. the natural inclination that his arm will be here. Very rarely will it end up here, but that's where you want it. Pull away, up, and over, and then we're going to spin back round. Look how I draw my shoulder down. Keep the foot here, and we're in exactly that position that we wanted. So I'm kind of finding another way to get to the same ending. Still confused? No? Everyone okay? I can show it again if you want. Once more? No problem at all. Do you want to see this?
No, that's fine.
Part-time? Good, I want this! He's not going to give it to me. So your foregrip. This is called north-south, and we're trapping. Okay. I lean my chest on his tricep to give me a little bit more body connection. Pull away, up and over. The job isn't finished yet. So ending up in the same position I wanted to in technique one. It's just a little bit more. I think it's more useful for you guys because it's a more realistic scenario. Yes? Give it a go. 3, 2, 1. If you're good at this, then we'll do some sparring after this.